Thinking about starting to get into deer hunting, here's exactly what you need without breaking the bank. There's lots of things you can get for deer hunting, but you don't need everything to get started. These are some of the must-have things you need. Of course, when we're thinking about deer hunting, you need some sort of weapon to kill the animal, and you want it to be an ethical kill. You do not want to just injure the animal. Of course, for a brand new hunter, I would suggest that you use a rifle or a crossbow. I still use a crossbow to this day, but each state has their own regulations on when you can hunt with a bow or a gun. When you're hunting with a gun, you gotta make sure that you have ammo for it. And when you're hunting with any sort of bow, you gotta make sure that you have the arrows you need and the broadheads. The broadhead is what goes onto the end of the arrow to make the incision when you shoot the deer. Next, and one of the most important things to me, is your license and your tag. Each state has their own regulations on what you need depending on where you're hunting. Here in Ohio, if you're hunting on your own land, the only thing you need to buy is a tag. But if a friend wants to come over and hunt with you, they have to buy a tag and a license. Each state is different, but then something else you have to take into account is season dates. Ohio deer archery season, which is crossbows, longbows, and compound bows, that season goes from like September 27th all the way to like February 3rd or something like that. I don't know the exact date. I can shoot a deer with any of those weapons as long as I have a tag on my own property. Also here in Ohio, gun season only lasts for so long, and there's youth gun season, and it just varies depending on state. So if you guys wanted the hunting rules and regulations in your state, just go to your DNR's website. In Google, just look up, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and you'll find it. Safety gear. You want to always make sure that you're safe in the woods. It's very important because you don't want to get shot. You don't want to accidentally fall out of your tree. So when you're hunting with a gun, it is by law you have to wear hunter's orange, which is a blaze orange colored vest and hat, and you just gotta wear that. When you're hunting in a tree stand, you must wear a harness. I don't want to see you guys falling out of trees. Nobody wants to fall out of a tree. I don't want anybody to be laying on the ground for hours with no help. So it's very important that you use your safety gear when hunting. Now, something else you need to think about is what clothes you're going to wear out in the woods. So when you're hunting up in a tree stand, you probably should be wearing camo. You don't have to. The deer will maybe see you a little easier. And when you're hunting a blind, you want to wear black so they can't see you at all. For instance, I only own one camo shirt, and I very rarely use it when hunting. I use a black long sleeve shirt, black fleece jacket, just black out everything because I hunt in ground blind. But you also want to make sure that you're dressing to the weather because you don't want to be sitting out there in the freezing cold just shivering away. Something else you really need is a knife. You always want to make sure you have a knife on you because you never know what you might need to cut. And also you want to make sure that it's sharp enough for when you kill a deer that you can field dress it. The way I do it is I don't field dress it, I just drag it and I hang it up and take all the meat off right then and there, and I don't have to worry about taking out the guts. Optics, they're very important but not necessary. You always want to make sure you know exactly what you're shooting at before you shoot it. For instance, in some states they have buck and doe tags. You don't want to accidentally shoot a button buck because that would suck. So I would definitely recommend having some binoculars just to make sure that you're not shooting a button buck. My dad shot a button buck. You don't want to do that, guys. It'll be shameful. Here's some optional things that are very nice to have. A rangefinder. A rangefinder is very useful knowing how far away a deer is, because with pretty much anything, you sight in your scope or your pin sight to so many yards, and you want to make sure that you're going to hit them in the right spot so you just don't injure them and you actually kill them ethically. Scent control products, they are kind of useful. I don't know if they work that well. It just depends. I always wash my clothes in the scent-free laundry detergent by Dead Downwind. You can spray your boots and everything, so just keep in mind that the deer have very strong noses, and once they smell you, you're kind of busted and your hunt might get ruined. You can sit down by a tree and just wait, but I would definitely recommend buying a ground blind or a tree stand or just something for cover. If you're just sitting with your back to a tree, it's not the best, but it could work if you really tried. I have some tips for some beginner. My first tip is that you don't overspend on your gear. I'm going to be using the same blind I did last year. I put some money into this year and made a platform for it. So I didn't overspend last year, and I'm using the same thing as I did last year, except that it has a platform now and it's a little bit nicer. I would definitely recommend hunting with somebody. My whole first year I hunted by myself, and I was kind of wishing there was someone there with me all the time. Definitely learn the wind and the deer movement before you buy super expensive camo. super expensive camo I think is pointless. The only camo shirt I have was 12 bucks at Royal Camp. Really, that's all you guys need to get started deer hunting. Guys, keep it simple, focus on learning rather than spending lots of money. More gear will come later. And if you guys found this video helpful, hit that like button for me and subscribe if you want to see more deer hunting content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and God bless.